It's week 24 of the Race Country Cottage build in That Phanom, Thailand. Welcome and thanks for joining me for this week's update. You can see the sun's out. That's not how the week started. Monday was a torrential downpour, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was just a mud bath around here. Very difficult to do anything. But most of the work was inside, so the tradies could continue. It was access to the site that was a problem, as you'll see. So this week, the ceiling team completed the carport storeroom ceilings. They've only got the 3 bathrooms left to do, which they'll come back later once the tiling work is done to complete that. Skim coat team was here all week doing skim coat on the walls. They do 2 coats and sand it, make it smooth as for painting. The floor leveling team were here later in the week. They've cleaned the floor, and over 2 days they've laid down leveling concrete, which you'll see in the video to make it ready for SPC flooring later on. And our tiler has been busy at work. When he finished the kitchen infrastructure and the main bedroom counter, he commenced with tiling. The tiles arrived this week, so he's got lots of work over the next probably 5 weeks or more of tiling. So look, come along. Thanks for joining me, as I said earlier in the video, and appreciate some of the feedback I've got and the comments. Lots of likes, so stay tuned. I think there's something like 8 weeks left in the scheduled build, which is really exciting. I mean, you can see we're down to the finishing parts now. But we'll see how we go. Towards the end of November, the house is to be finished, and there's 2 weeks for defect correction and move in around the middle of December. If all goes to plan, might be a little bit sooner. Anyway, who knows? Stay tuned and see what happens. Cheers. So our week started with this large rain band passing over us. And it took about 5 days of constant rain, day and night. It felt like living in a fishbowl. You can see the flooding in the front yard of the building site. Everything was just soaking wet, and mud everywhere. We had to access the build site from paved road. Couldn't walk through the bush to get to it. And you can see here the amount of rain coming off the back roof. And while people could work, they couldn't drive in. They had to walk in through this building site access. Our builder got stuck in this mud. I'd asked him to do something about the entrance because people were constantly being stuck. But he ignored me until he got stuck in his own truck. So then he called in a tractor to push away all the churned up loose mud, get down to the hard pack underneath, which was successful. One of the major achievements this week was skim coating of the walls. Skim coat seems to be a cement-based modified polymer, according to this information, and it's applied in 2 coats, and it's to cover up the roughness that you find in the rendered cement walls. So here he is, he's mixing the powdered with water, and then it's like a doughy mixture that they then apply on the walls very thinly with trowels. You can see him here, he just wipes it on and smooths it out. So as I said, they apply one initial coat. As you can see here, half the wall's done. And when the first coat is on and dried, they then come back, and like this fella, he's applying the second coats to the walls. And then when that's dry, they sand the wall, and it makes it unbelievably smooth. You can feel the rough render beforehand, and here you can see the ladies going about sanding, as is this fella in the corner. Here the electrician's finishing off some wiring in the carport, including installing the ground wire, the earth wire, which will go into a copper cable or copper post in the ground at a later date. Then it was on to the carport ceiling works. The team installed cement board around the edges of the carport, and then moisture resistant gyprock to the internal parts of the ceiling. Obviously they then used the ceiling tape and mud, as they call it, to finish off the edges and fill in between the boards and the screw holes. It was all then sanded down and ready for painting. In the next step this week, we had our air conditioning contractor arrive on site. He wanted to install the cassette air conditioner. Everything was finished off, and here he is taking out the template. There's a hole left by the ceiling team so that they could access. They'd pre-installed the metal supports for the air conditioner. Here the fella's cutting out the necessary area of the gyprock to fit in the cassette. While the team left an opening, it wasn't exact according to the template, so they just cut out what's required. The ceiling team will come back and fill in the gyprock and finish off the mudding and taping of it at a later date. So once the hole was ready, 3 men and 3 ladders and 1 cassette air conditioner hoisted up into the air and installed onto the four hanging bolts that are attached to the metal beams above. So good and solid, and it won't come down. Surprised how easily it was lifted into place and secured onto the bolts. Didn't seem to be fairly hassle-free. And just checking the units all level. After they finished getting this installed, they spent a number of hours connecting the copper piping, wrapping it in the black felt, or the black material you can see here, the rubber, running it out to the edge of the house where the condenser, the outside unit will be, and they'll install later. Once the house is ready, it'll be encased. So another activity this week was the arrival of our wall and floor tiles from Home Pro in Mukdahan. The site was too muddy to access with the truck, so they had to hand carry them from the truck to the carport, 1 or 2 boxes at a time. I don't think they were very happy about this either. But anyway, once all the tiles were delivered and piled up, the tiler's wife had to count and confirm the delivery. So with all the cement glue for the tiles, they're ready to start. I was glad to see they use a laser level to mark out the walls to get the leveling correct. So between the regular level and the laser level, the tiling is going to be, I think, done correctly. Here the tiler's starting to work on the wall. He's put a metal channel, you can see just below him on the wall, as the starting mark and to hold the first row of tiles. And then he puts the cement glue, or cement mortar, tile mortar, down on the wall, and then puts it on the back of the tile. This is going to be wood look tile, feature wall. behind the vanity and in the shower. Different wall tiles on the sides of the bathroom and different on the floor. So once he's satisfied with his spread of the mortar, he applies the tile to the wall. I've really not paid much attention to tiling previously, so I'm finding a lot of all this skills very interesting to watch and to see how they go about their task. So tapping the tile into the mortar so it's well set. And I was really pleased to see that he uses these level on each tile to see that it's aligned properly, not only one way but every way. And then he uses spacers that he screws into place to make sure that there's a proper space for grouting later on, and it's held clearly in place while it sets. So that's how he got to on that wall. And then you're starting on the shower wall at the other end of the bathroom. Similar process. And had a metal channel at the starting line at the bottom. He'll fill that in later below where he started. And just tapping the tile into place, just repeating the processes as he goes along. It's rather slow, and a lot of cutting to be done to fit. Then he got a few tiles up and he started then on the sidewall tiles. So they're cream color against the wood grain, which should be a good contrast. And he's putting the eyebrow in around the recessed holders. We selected a tea-colored eyebrow, as they call it, a metal finish piece that goes around openings. And here he's got a good chunk of the wall done, looking pretty good. And interesting spacers that help secure the tiles until they set in place. I expect tiling to continue for many weeks yet. Another thing this week was floor leveling work began. Team arrived to clean the concrete floors of the house. They're covered in render and all kinds of other debris from the building. They're quite rough. I mean, when they render the walls, they spill everything, so they have to use straight edges of all kinds to bang away and clear the debris on the floor to make it smooth, to get it ready for the screed rendering that they do later in the week. So here they're working side by side between the smooth coat people and the floor leveling people. And was I ever glad to see Thursday. The sun was out, the rain had finally gone, and things could start to dry up. Unbelievable. So now it was time to start leveling the floors. So they used, they measured around the edge and marked where the floor needed to be level all around. Then they used string lines and put in render corner beads in concrete on the floor at various intervals that matched the string lines, so they knew where the cement screed needed to be poured and leveled to make the floor perfectly level. So here you can just see the corner beads set in cement on the floor. Now it was time to start pouring the screed. First they had to wash all the floors and make them clean. So they used the hose and washed out all the debris that was left on the floors to make them as clean as they could, ready for the bonding coat that they need to put down. So just some shots of the floors. Well, here it is Saturday morning, and we're waiting for the concrete truck to show up for floor leveling. The floor leveling team have been at it, and getting it all prepared. So we're just waiting now for the truck to arrive. You can see here that all the floors have been set up like this. They know the level that they need the concrete to make the floor level and smooth for SPC flooring to be installed later on. So in the meantime, I'm just sitting on the front porch, quietly waiting for the truck to arrive. I'll go back to my perch, see you when the truck gets here. So this is the builder. He's used the level to run around and check that everything, all the beads are level and ready for the concrete. So here they're putting a bonding agent down on the floor that'll help the new screed adhere to the old concrete on the floor. Typical process is used for this floor leveling technique. So the bonding agent, as I understand, just ensures a good adhesion of the fresh concrete to the old concrete, and it's just poured out and painted on, as you can see from the video. This fellow would just do a few sections ahead of each pour, so it was ready when the team was ready. So then the truck finally arrived, and the yogurt-like substance was put into this tub and then hand paled in and poured. It was kind of a day and a half to get it all done. And you can see here they just pour the pails out into the sections, and when they have enough in, they start to level it out. It was very yogurt-like consistency, I must say. A bit damp, but not overly. So floor screed is a mixture of cement and sharp sand, which is then set out in a thin layer. It's designed to sit on top of a concrete subfloor, as is this the case, and then it's a nice smooth structure to lay down, a decorative floor topping. In our case, going to be an SPC wood look flooring, Cottage LT wood look flooring. I mean, you could lay carpet or panels, or it could have been smoothed out for a smooth concrete look floor. But with the country cottage kind of design idea we have, I think the wood look SPC flooring will do the best thing. So they worked away doing this, and you can see here, this is what it looks like when it's poured, and they use the straight edge to smooth it all out. As it's worked, the water somewhat rises to the top and sets very smoothly. So the second day arrived, they only got 3/4 of the house done on the first day, so they were back on Saturday to do some more leveling. So they managed to get the truck up to the back porch, and there's one section of the front left to be done, and then the back bedroom and walk-in closet needed to be finished off. And here's the fella doing his bonding, painting on the bedroom floor, and just gives you another view of the consistency of this floor screed. Something I've never seen before, so once again found it very interesting to watch and see how it's all done. The boys say they're extremely tired from the day before, carrying these pails of screed and pouring it out and leveling it. So they're glad it was just about over. So just a few shots of the finished floors, so you can see what it looks like. All ready for SPC to be laid down towards the end of the build. Well, that's it for this week. A few shots of the park in town in the green season, nice and green. We stopped by a local coffee shop to enjoy a treat one afternoon, as you can see, and then checked out the Mekong River because it was rising and worried about flood, but it was only at yellow and not a problem like some parts of northern Thailand. So thanks again, and we'll see you in week 25. Cheers.